De sonido pues ahora comprobamos, pero yo creo que estará bien, así que vamos al lío. Historia. Continuar, por favor. Estábamos por el magnífico. Al matar a Johnny Ringo se cerró el primer capítulo de la historia de la venganza de Silas y comenzó su sangrienta carrera. No me ha dado tiempo de terminar de leerlo. Pero bueno, no pasa nada.
I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant. And hunting Plumber looked like a good way to get rich quick.
Vale, ahora vamos a por Plumber.
Local vigilantes exposed him as the leader of the bandits and put a generous price on his head. Plumber rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape. And that's where I thought I'd find him.
Encuentra la entrada de la mina. Me está dejando subirme aquí. Entiendo que igual puedo mirar desde arriba. Ah, vale. ¿Este qué hace aquí? Ah, no, es que hay que ir por aquí, vale. Hostia puta, he fallado el tiro, eh. Ha sido lamentable eso, la verdad. Vale. Vale, y por aquí entiendo que puedo bajar, ¿no? ¡Ey! Hay una pepita cerca. Me dice. ¿Aquí debajo será? ¿O qué? Hay una pepita cerca. ¿Será aquí debajo, no? Vaya hostia me he dado, ¿no? Casi me mato, tío. Vale. Escopeta, ¿no? A mí me gusta mucho más el fusil, la verdad. Y entiendo que era esto, ¿no? Entonces, ¿o qué? Porque ya por aquí... Por aquí tenemos una salida. Por aquí tenemos la otra. Vale. Vale. Lo había visto, loco. Vaya tiros me he pegado, la verdad. Me han pegado. Ah, entrar la mina hasta aquí, o sea, tampoco... Yo qué sé. A ver. Vale. Tengo que ir por... Ah, tengo que ir por aquí atrás, vale.
I knew that dynamite wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it. It was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches. There were thieves and killers, robbing travelers and hijacking gold ships.
Hostia, en serio con esa caída me mato, tío. Con la puta. Vaya forma más tonta de morir, ¿no? Joder, encima no me ha dejado ahora hacer el minijuego de romper la dinamita, tío. Venga, a casa. Este se ha quedado ahí, ¿no? ¿Se ha quedado ahí? ¿Qué cojones, tío? ¿Hay nadie por aquí? Le doy un puto tiro, ¿eh? Estoy frío de cojones, la verdad. ¿Puedo ir por aquí? Qué guapo, ¿no? ¿No hay nadie ahí? Tío, qué pena, tío. Había revólver.
Stone cold killers trained on the
Voy a
bloody
subirme el
fields of
juego,
Shiloh
tío.
and Antietam. Plummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them
Que hay
blind with
mucho
the other.
explosivo aquí, tío.
He set up a defensive perimeter which I had no idea how to breach.
Hostia puta. Ah, gracias.
Dangerous, desperate individual. I was outnumbered and in way over my head, but I was too damn stubborn and stood
¡Ey! ¡Eh! ¡Eh! ¿Qué ha pasado? ¡Hola! ¿Qué cojones? Vaya masacrada esta de gratis, tío. ¿Qué cojones? Hostia puta, tío. A la casa. ¿Qué coño ha pasado, tío? Estabas por aquí,
They
cabrón.
must have thought I was touched. Or had some kind of death wish. Seeing that there were barrels of gunpowder everywhere.
Fue este el que me mató antes, ¿no? Arma a dos manos.
One stray bullet, one stray spark, and I'd be blown to hell and gone. Did I have any second thoughts about what I was doing? I thought I was some kind of hero. I finally made it past and headed on to meet my destiny.
Vale. ¿Y ahora?
But first, I had something I needed to figure out.
Vale, ¿y esto? Nada, ¿no? Hostia, ¿y ahora? Puedo salir de aquí, ¿no? Digo yo. Hostia, tío. ¿Cómo la puedo liar tanto, tío? ¿Cómo puedo liarla tanto, tío? ¿Y esto? Vale, nada. Mira, por lo menos he pillado munición, tú. Espectáculo. ¿Cómo puedo liarla tanto, tío? Venga, va. Algo va a pasar
I
aquí.
had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense. It was the quickest way in, but
Sí.
that also made it more dangerous,
Hostia.
as there would undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
Vale, guapísimo. Fua, de loco. ¿Qué nos ponemos? Me mola seguirme, me gustaría seguir ampliando pistolita, la verdad. Más zoom no me mola. Oh, recarga rápida. Y agilidad. Me gusta más este. La recarga rápida me mola, que además yo suelo fallar tiros. Un poco más y no le doy. No pasa nada. La muni. Ah, no me da. La munición no me deja.
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around.
Hay dos caminos.
And that confusing maze of corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it.
Hostia, hay dos caminos no, aquí hay varios caminos. ¿Qué? Cadena, ¿no?
Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell.
Vale.
single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion.
¡Fua! Qué locura, la verdad. Además, venga. Pepita cerca. Aquí munición. La pepita tiene que estar por aquí atrás, me imagino. Ah, no, es esto, mira. Es eso, ¿no? Entiendo. Vale, si yo sigo por aquí.
Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked. I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to kingdom come. With all that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere, a body has to know what he's shooting at.
¡Hostia!
Spark, and boom.
¡Hostia! ¿Y no puedo disparar desde aquí atrás? No, no puedo.
Always loved the 4th of July.
Hubiera sido demasiado fácil. Vale. Bien. Bien, bien, bien. Bien hecho, bien hecho.
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad blasted tube.
¡Toma! ¿Qué? Hostia. Hay que mirarse, ¿no? Corre, corre. ¡Toma! Qué guapo, tío. Qué guapo queda todo esto, tío. Vale.
It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it.
Ah. Ah, que todo esto era vale. Qué guapo.
Way into the mine from the opposite side.
Qué guapo. Joder, todo esto para contarte que no entró por ahí, ¿sabes?
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time.
Eso mola, en verdad.
Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus out of me. Climbing down
Hostia,
that
cuánta
ladder
escalera, tío. Yo también tengo vértigo, la verdad. No en la
even though I
altura.
had a younger man's reflexes. No man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder.
Y ahora hay que saltar, ¿no? Entiendo.
I needed
Buen
to
salto.
take a leap of faith.
Buen salto, la verdad. He saltado bien, la verdad. Hostia, tío, estoy muriendo mucho, ¿eh?
I was determined not to give up.
Vale.
As Sheriff Plummer seemed quite the despicable character. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, people were outraged. That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find old Bob. And I had made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water.
Buah. Sí, señor. Vaya tiro, nene.
But first, I would have to make a choice. Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Pepita. ¿Pepita dónde? Tengo que pillar escalera o ascensor. Escalera. Vamos a probar escalera. Mira dónde están las cosas, tío. ¡Ey! Uf. No, no, no. No. Cuidado. No. Ahora. Joder. Lo que me ha costado salir de ahí, tú. Algo me parece. Subimos. Subimos. Hay un tío aquí arriba, ¿no? Nada más subir. Ok. A la casa. A la casita. ¿Y ahora qué? Ascensor. ¿Ahora? ¿El vagón? Ah, por aquí, coño.
Plummer was a mad dog killer, and the people of Nevada City deserved better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Buah. Vaya tiro.
Right, well, he was the sheriff of both places at one time or another, but that's neither here nor there. The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
Ahora por aquí. ¿Y ahora? ¿Lo hemos encontrado? Ok. Míralo, hombre de la ley. Fuera de la ley. Bribón. Henry Plummer. Un capullo. Vale, se viene.
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away
Yo.
this was gonna take
Hijo
some
de puta. No lo veo. Es un cabrón. Epa. Giro. Tranquilo, fiera. Tranquilo. ¿Quién más hay? Venga. Vuelve, cabrón. Cuidado, cuidado. Cuidado que ahora se pone serio, ¿eh? ¡Toma!
So that's how Henry Plummer died.
Ahí está.
Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold. And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
Todo esto para ganarse una reputación y unos inicios como cazarrecompensas, flipa. Sí, señor. 62% de puntería, bueno. Mejorable, pero no está mal.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself.
Episodio 4. John Wesley Harding.
Hell, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself.
Manos rápidas o manos muertas. Silas afirma que se hizo recompensa para financiar la casa de su última presa, Roscoe Bob Bryant. Vámonos.
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was...
Yo, directos a la acción, Directos a la acción, loco.
I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
I thought the Texas Rangers got hardened.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was cold in a witch's tit and
Hostia.
a brass bra that night as
Mira,
I
mira,
fought
mira,
my
mira.
way past his loyal compadres to the very same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me, and
¿Duelo? Qué rápido, ¿no?
wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer.
Volvemos atrás.
By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here. I'm freezing my giblets off.
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. Most of them were wanted as well. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the bullshit. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their Hefe of my unwelcome presence. I wondered if Bob was among them.
Boys know we got another law dog.
Ah, mal usado ahí, tío. Sí. Calma, vaquero. Calma, campeón. Vale. Perfecto. La escopeta recortada no me interesa. Uy, va, seguimos. Mira, ahí arriba hay algo. Vamos a pillar eso. Puedo subir por aquí, ¿no? Entiendo. Ah, bueno, hay una escalera, que eso sí. Soy idiota, tío. Hay y una escalera. Venga, eso es. Vale, habilidades. Esto es lo de la concentración y aquí era, porque esto es para escopetas, ¿no? Esto es para, exacto, para las escopetas. Esto. Venga, perfecto. Seguimos.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better.
Y ahora llegamos a lo del pueblo, ¿no?
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers.
Vale. Regalito.
Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story. I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Había visto al tío este loco. Bien.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon.
¿Y quedan tíos por aquí? Ya está, ¿no?
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
Eh. Vale, calma.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
No, mira, este lo tenía adelante.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down
Ahora
the
sí.
fastest gun in the West.
Ahora sí. Ya nos ha puesto un contexto. Ahora sí. Primero muerto a los 15 años. Mató a un hombre por roncar. Y a 40 por respirar. Hostia puta, tío. Bueno, el duelo se le dan como el culo, así que vamos a hacer lo que se pueda.
Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
No, 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 no. Coño. No, olvídate. Joder.
No, wait. He didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
No. Venga, a ver. Joder. ¿Por qué se me va tanto, tío? A la derecha. No. Me cago en la puta. Joder. O sea, ahora tengo que esquivar y matarlo también. Joder, tengo que reaccionar rápido. Apuntar bien. Y encima esquivar la bala. Me cago en la puta. Baja, coño. Me cago en la puta, tío. Ya, coño. Dios mío, tío. Si reacciono todo lo rápido que puedo, tío. Joder. Putos duelos, tío. Se me dan como la mierda. Vamos. Vamos.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots.
¿Y ahora?
And now, he was at my mercy.
¿Qué?
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life.
Joder, y
Shot him
entonces
in the
para qué
back
tanto
in a
rollo, tío.
saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
¿Para qué tanto rollo entonces, coño? Me cago en la puta. Tienes aquí humillándome con mis reflejos de mierda para los putos duelos, tío.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Grey Wolf. Episodio
Yes,
5.
I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Bailando con renegados. Silas Griff persiguió a peligrosos forajidos como John Wesley Harding esperando a que le condujeran a Bryant. Ok.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven.
Hace mucho tiempo en una montaña muy lejana.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death.
Vale. Se nota el cambio de colores, ¿eh?
Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move.
Vale, ahora sí.
He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him. They saw me before I saw them.
Bien, vale. Vale.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
Cabrón. Hostia puta, tío. Bien.
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas, and that's why they had retreated there. I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
Vale. ¿Y ahora qué? ¿Por aquí? Sí, por aquí.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
Joder, coño. Bueno, mal aprovechado, pero bueno, podría haber sido peor, la verdad.
deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Vamos reflejo aquí.
But it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness. See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the walls.
Vale, hay dos caminos. Vale. Ah, vale. Vale, y si voy por este lado, ¿qué ocurre? ¿Qué hay por aquí? Vale, nada. Vale. Muchas cositas. Bien, a tope, vamos al tope.
How big was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars.
Vale.
They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the
Al otro.
horse soldiers.
Cojones, ha
Cave
muerto
was
el otro por la
haunted
cara.
with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Bien. Vale. Vale.
How come you know so much about Indians?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters.
Hostia.
Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death.
Entiendo que es esto.
I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me.
¿Cómo? ¿Qué?
As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior.
Ey, que no me recarga, tío.
The
Oye, no me va.
shadows of your
Coño.
past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed,
Hostia, esto
his
era para aprovechar para pillar
surrounded
puntos,
me and
tío.
attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me though. and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Yo. Vale.
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared.
Otra vez un milagro, como el de antes, como el de la otra vez, el del otro día, tú. ¿Qué milagro? El milagro así, porque se ha puesto el camino este y ya está. Bueno, muy guapo, la verdad.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice,
Bien.
overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady. I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least
Vale.
100 Apaches around me.
En ello.
God
Sí,
be
señor.
my witness.
Puntería rápida. Elige tu objetivo más rápido. La velocidad al apuntar de todas las armas aumenta en un 30%. ¡Ole!
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
¿Qué? Tu puta madre. Hostia puta, tío. ¡Opa!
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Otro camino inventado, ¿vale? Mola. A recargar todo, tío. La madre que me parió. Qué locura, tío.
I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
¿Cómo? Vale.
Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
Qué guapo. Mola, mola, mola.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
Los hermanos Dalton.
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Vale. Me llaman Cazarrecompensas. El chamán indio lobo gris lanzó una advertencia misteriosa a Silas, aconsejándole que no se revolcara en el veneno de la amargura y el odio.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunslinger.
Vale, ¿y ahora?
And he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one.
Vale.
You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. The story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
Vale. Vale.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently.
Vale. A ver cómo fue en verdad.
It was high noon.
Venga,
Posse
mediodía.
of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait to suck the bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
Joder, no doy una bala, coño.
He went in there alone to confront those criminals.
Vale.
One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass?
Hostia.
The rifle's mine.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
Ah, por aquí. Vale, vale, vale.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
Mientras se reía del peligro,
Brave men
cojo.
like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas Green?
Jim Booth,
Son
Davy
of a
Crockett,
bitch!
who died defending the Alamo.
That's right. You rule the day. Over there.
No.
That's Silas Green. What the hell?
Vale.
Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Green.
Ahí está.
And when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it
Otra vez. Tampoco. Hostia, tío. ¿Qué
happened. It
cojones?
was early evening, not high noon.
Joder, no, va a ser por la noche al final.
The Daltons blew up the safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Vale. El líder, el amante y el perdedor. Bob, Emmett y Grat.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody
Mamarla.
knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Vale.
Those friends came after me like a pack of
Bien.
wild dogs,
Vámonos.
tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions.
¿Qué?
I caught
Again.
sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. To top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No,
Eh.
it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses
puta,
are
tío.
related to the
Esto
Browns,
coño está al
they
otro.
shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well,
La puta ventana,
bullets were
tío.
flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Vale. Seguimos mejorando. Vamos a ponerle esto. Revólver grabado, tú. Qué guapo.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together.
Ya sabía
They
yo.
set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Y ahora, aquí.
It was Emmett,
¿Y esto?
the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Cut you in half. That all you got? Blow your damn head clean off!
Vale.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
Vale.
But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Muy bien. Continuamos. Silas Greaves se convirtió en un famoso cazarrecompensas. Su mayor ambición, sin embargo, era vengarse de Bob Bryant.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Son colegas estos. Vale.
Track him to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Vale. Otro por aquí. Por allí.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
¿Qué? Dios mío, tío. Me encanta, me encanta, me encanta. Qué fumadones, tío.
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded.
Ahora solo me puedo orientar por esto, no puedo usar el...
Wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Bury 'em in the snow. Plant 'em where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Vale, por aquí. De alguna manera es por aquí. Por aquí.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Vale.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their
Bien,
cause.
cogemos some ammo. Bien.
Point being, I was under serious attack. And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Más munición. Buah. Sí, señor, qué buen combo, niño.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes.
Hostia puta, tío.
I scrambled up top to get a better view. But just ended up falling inside.
Vale.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running through the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was.
¿Qué?
Steve?
Ah, que el tío está solo.
So I just started walking, and pretty soon... Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Vale, de puta madre.
They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve
Cállate.
was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Bounty hunter! Stop that son of a bitch!
Bien.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. Or Smiths or
Puta dinamita.
Hoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Me cago en la puta, tío. Coño. Pues hacía rato que no me mataban, ya era hora ya. Ah, la dinamita de los huevos. Bien. Vamos la Muni. No lo veo. No lo veo. Ahí, cabrón. Bien. De rebote. ¿Qué te haya visto, cabrón? Bien. Bien. Tía. Cabrón de mierda.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them. And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Hostia.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found.
Uf.
But among those men that were shooting,
Yo.
I thought I saw
Yo sin
some
verla,
familiar
niño.
faces.
Sin verla, loco. Espectáculo. Hijo de puta. No lo veía, tío. Vale, bien aprovechadita ahí la concentración. Let's go.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Por aquí hay algo. Por aquí cerca. Por aquí, ¿no? Suena por aquí, la verdad. No sé por dónde puede estar metido.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man
Adiós al escopetero, 2 tiros en la cabeza y fuera.
I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Fácil. Vale, ahí está. Puerta no se puede entrar. Iremos por aquí entonces. No hay nada más. Ahora sí. Tenemos por aquí habilidades. Esto es daño mejorado durante la concentración. Todas las balas que disparen durante la concentración serán un 50% más de daño. Y por aquí. Esto también. Este. Vámonos. Vale. Hostia.
Right about then, much to my relief,
Yo le veo un tiro, ¿verdad?
vigilantes finally arrived.
Le veo un
Their
tiro.
leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Ah, que te hicieron el lío. Ya me olía raro, la verdad.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think they'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsafe.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off, Mr. Breeze?
I took in a lot of
Oh.
smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
¡Oh, oh! ¡Oh, oh! ¡Qué guapo, tío! Joder, que no puedas llevar esto durante el juego, la verdad.
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time.
¡Qué
This
guapo!
together. Two brothers side by side,
Hostia.
determined to take me down.
¿Y esto?
Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
¿Qué cojones? No, hostia, pero esto es muy difícil, tío. Hostia, ¿cómo coño me hago esto, loco? Ah, bueno, puedo esquivar las balas. Con lo de la A y la D. Hostia, qué chungo, tío. ¡No! ¿Qué le he dado? ¿Qué le he dado? ¡No! ¿Qué le he dado, tío? No me toques los huevos, tío, va. ¿Qué le he dado, tío? Me cago en su puta madre, tío. Joder. Tía puta, tío. Es que esto es muy difícil, tío. Esto es muy difícil, tío. Joder. Madre mía, pa... Pero ¿por qué me da siempre, tío? Pero que le estoy esquivando, tío. Que le estoy esquivando todo el puto rato, tío. Joder. Que yo no puedo fijarme para dónde coño va la puta bala, tío. Dios, de verdad. Les he dado los dos y me ha matado, tío. Les he dado los dos y me ha matado el hijo de puta, tío. Joder, venga, va, que sí. Dios mío, de vida. Pero que no. ¿Por qué no le he dado al primero? Madre mía. Joder, menos mal. No le he dado al primero, tú. Vale, he conseguido, tío.
He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day.
Vale.
And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Bien. Joder, ha costado. Ha costado, ha costado.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Episodio 7. Hostia. ¿Y esto?
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away.
Hostia.
The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Hostia, pero esto huele a que ya nos queda poco, ¿eh? Liderado por Butch Cassidy y Sundance Kid, el grupo salvaje era la última banda, no me dio tiempo. Joder, la puta. El malogrado asalto al tren.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
Hostia.
They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Ya. Adiós. Por aquí. Vale.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say? I can't hear a goddamn thing.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route.
¿Qué? Vale.
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall.
Bien.
I found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward.
Solo revólver de recarga rápida, así que de puta madre.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Locos.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
¡Fua! ¡Qué maravilla, Dios mío! ¡Qué guapo, hostia!
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
Vale, por el borde todo el rato.
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Por aquí tampoco puedo entrar. O sea que por aquí.
At times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Patapum. Y a casa. Por aquí tampoco. ¡Ey! No, esto no. Esto lo podemos leer después, en verdad, ¿eh? Podría estar guapo
I
leer
kept
alguno
hoping
de
the
estos.
law would show up and give me a
You mean
hand.
like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
¿Cómo? Gran cuadrilla contra el grupo salvaje. ¡Qué guapo!
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my
Vale.
lonesome.
Nada.
As usual.
Nada.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat! Retreat!
Ole. Uf. Tremendo. A casa. ¡Bum! Y hay una pepita cerca, decía. Hostia, aquí dentro. Qué bien. Me queda una sola.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
Oh,
Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
oh, me gusta. Que vengan más. Fue guapísimo, tío. ¡Ole! Y te viene encima.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang.
Vale.
Right after
Otro duelo.
Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Bien.
The very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
A la primera, vámonos. Sí, señor.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Muerto de forma honorable. Yes. Bien. El tren de la 1:30 al infierno. Silas afirma que su incansable persecución de Bob Bryan llevó a los líderes del grupo salvaje a huir a Sudamérica.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later,
5
I
años
heard the
después.
Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kind of crazy, ain't he? Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado. Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
Vale.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
Bien, ahí misión, secretito. Otro nivel. Eso es. A ver el otro. Esta mola. Ey, ¿y dónde tengo que ir? Buscar pistas.
And I
Ah,
found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
vale.
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
Impide que la banda
Kid
vuele el
Curry was
puente.
considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children. though some say it was only 5.
Vale.
Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards.
Desactivar los explosivos. Ah, aquí.
And I made it a point to remove any dynamite that I came across. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Ah, pues ya los tíos, ¿no? Dámelos aquí.
But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks.
Sí.
Yes, there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
¡Yo! Sí, señor. Este tío, ¿no? Calma, calma. ¡Fium! Mira, qué bien tirada. Vale.
So,
Bien.
what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
Más dinamita. Camino. Obviamente.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
¿Qué? Ahora me he despistado. ¿Y esto? ¿Pero qué le hago? ¿Esto? Ah. Vale. Ok. No ha estado mal.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a 4th charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
Casa.
He's killing everybody.
Bien, no ha estado mal esa.
You ain't killing me.
Vale.
So I proceeded onward and realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Vale, ahora, wow. Que ya me estoy volviendo loquísimo, tío.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. There was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell.
Oh, tío.
I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore.
Kill that SOB! Make him bleed! Send him to perdition!
Finally, I found those boys. Or
Bien.
more precisely, they found me.
These crazy kids me! You think I don't see?
Regalito va. La dinamita. Me he dado cuenta ahora, tío. Con la puta. Bien.
Who the hell is that? These crazy kids ask me! Nuttier than a damn fruitcake!
Bien.
Shoot him in the head!
¿Está?
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Una ametralladora. Hostia. Hostia. Kid Curry. Urri.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for
Sí,
me.
pero a ver, lanzársela desde aquí es una gilipollez, no voy a llegar, tío. A la piedra, a la piedra, a la piedra. Ahí llega, creo. Vale, sí. Vale. No tengo más dinamita. A ver. Vale, hay más. Perfecto. ¡Uy, va!
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Y cuenta como que me han matado. Me cago en la puta, tío. Qué broma de mal gusto, tío. Joder, hacérmelo desde cero, tío. De verdad. Qué broma de mal gusto, tío. Me han matado ya cuando estaba cargándome el duelo, güey. Qué locura. Ah, cabrón, mátame ahora.
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. That's when I met Kid Curry himself. He
Cabrón
had
de
decided
mierda.
to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Venga, otro duelito. Se viene.
As fast as he was,
Bien.
I was just a bit faster.
Bien, a la primera, bien, a la primera,
And as
vámonos.
he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Cabrón.
Those were his last words.
Dale. Forma honorable. De locos. Seguimos.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kind of glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Episodio 8. Jesse James.
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
La muerte monta en un caballo de acero. Según Silas, otro de los asesinos de sus hermanos asaltaba trenes con Jesse James. Vámonos. Ojo, directo, tú.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train.
Comenzamos directo.
Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
Epa. A casa. No. No. Fuerte. Eso. ¡Boom!
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this.
¿Vamos a volver para atrás? Como la puta. Joder. La leyenda dice... ¿Qué coño, tío? Que podía parar un tren con la mirada. Vale.
They hopped a freight train, having heard, There was a big payroll in the express safe, so I hopped the same train.
Con la puta.
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with
Pepita
a host
cerca.
of others. I
No.
was hoping to find
Esto
my
no.
man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I
The
reached
James
that.
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again, I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Oh. Vale. Uy, que tenía habilidad, no me he dado cuenta hasta ahora. No me he dado cuenta. A ver, más daño en los combos, es más letal. A partir del cuarto nivel de combo, el daño de cada bala aumenta en un 100%. Venga, vamos a meterle esto.
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
Vale.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
Toda cámara lenta, loco.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack,
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously
Esto es un
think
bucle.
that tired old man went toe to toe with Jesse James?
Esto es una especie de bucle o algo así. Pero...
Well, that's better.
Ah.
Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof.
Joder.
At some point,
Puta.
somebody saw me and shouted out,
Cago en la
"It's a
madre que
damn
lo parió.
Quieres."
Ah, venga. Joder. Ah, casa.
At some point, some bitch saw me and shouted out, "It's a damn Pinkertons!" It's a damn Pinkertons! Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. It was no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Los reflejitos ahí a través de la sangre viendo la bala, ¿eh?
Somebody
Sí,
else,
señor.
aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember it.
Hay que subir por aquí porque hay otra cosa. ¿Y ahora? Ah, vale. Lo pillo.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward. I wondered if I was ever gonna find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Jesse hired a damn army after Northfield. Guess he didn't want to be outgunned like that ever again. Right about then, I
Hostia,
was
no,
attacked
una
by some
mierda,
asshole
loco.
on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Tengo que recoger esto.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
¿Y la dinamita qué? ¿Dónde está? ¡Ay! Joder. Joder, cayó yo mil obstáculos, estoy pegado en la puta. No, tengo dinamita de todas formas. ¿Le doy hasta ahí? Perfecto. Ojo, tres. Otra. Toma. Oh yeah. Oh, Dios mío. Qué maravilla. Sí, señor. Sigan saliendo. No hay más ya. No va más ya. No.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
¿Qué? No. ¿Qué cojones? ¡Dios! Por la mínima. Por la mínima, tío. Nada, lo mismo, nada. Oh, oh. Oh, yeah. ¿Qué?
It was a rickety ride and quite precarious.
¿Cómo? ¿Qué cojones? Si no ha muerto nada más salir.
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn
Hostia. Hostia.
I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
Vale, ¿y ahora?
You had a showdown
Vale.
with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford. Yeah, Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your
Coño.
past always catches up with you.
Bien, la primera.
Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his gun.
Bien,
What
bien,
about
bien,
that Jim
bien.
fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
Bien. Bien, 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 bien. Bien. Bueno. Iba a hacer esta, pero hostia, la verdad que estoy ya un poquillo reventado, ¿eh?
After my showdown with Jesse,
Estoy un
I
poquillo
continued to
reventado, la
track
verdad.
his brother, Frank, and that son of a bitch Jim.
No, uf. Estoy muy reventado, la verdad. A mira un momento esto. Hay 54, tío. Tengo poquísimas, loco. Poquísimas, tío. Bueno, yo lo voy a dejar aquí porque la verdad que ya estoy un poquillo... Toda la cabeza un poquito reventada, la verdad. Tengo la cabeza un poquito reventada. Ha estado guapo, la verdad. Y hemos avanzado bastante. No sé cuántas misiones nos hemos hecho, pero hemos avanzado bastante, sinceramente. Estoy contento porque creo que ya nos queda muy poquito del juego. O sea, nos tiene que dar muy poco ya.